Sober on Purpose is the podcast that takes you beyond clean to fulfilling your dreams. Other programs get you sober. We ask what's next. Come thrive with us.
I've had all those. This is too hard. I can't do it. I'm not really good at this. You know, they're likening this to child math trauma, but that wasn't it. And once we cleared those, it's not that I'm super happy to sit down and do the finances and all that stuff, but I'm very clear on I can do this. And if I can't do it, I can find somebody to help, or I could learn it, or I could look up a YouTube. I'm not stifled by I'm incapable.
Now, these techniques that this technique particularly that you just outlined, if someone was to do that with assistance or otherwise, can they expect to get some relief from the pattern?
Not necessarily. Many people experience relief when they realize that they are not their patterns. When they take the anxious label off and they go, I experience anxiety in certain situations. For some people, that's mind blowing, and they start to feel better right there.
That was kind of mind blowing. Yeah, like, that makes perfect sense.
One question I use is that universally true? Are you always anxious when that happens? If you were offered a different opportunity with this, and this, would you still be anxious? Is it always that way? And the answer always is no. It's not always.
Whoa, did you just use a... Yeah, you just
always.
Yeah.
So being able to split patterns out is a relief for many people. And then just having the understanding that there are subconscious programs running in the background that have that pattern make sense, allow many other people to go, whew, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm not crazy. Because once you know that there are beliefs and they're just programs running in the background, there's a number of different practices out there, some more effective than others, but there are different ways, mind technologies that have come out in the past 5-10 years that allow people to actually go and clear or delete or eliminate beliefs. And so suddenly doing this little mapping process creates relief, allows people to understand why they're experiencing what they're experiencing, and then gives hope that, okay, I'm starting to go down this path. I know I've got some beliefs. Beliefs can be cleared or deleted. And once I do, then suddenly I'll feel wildly different, and I'll have that rapid transformation that I'm looking for.
So do you want an example of how this happened between you and I?
No, can we use less personal one?
No.
You come out of the knight in shining armor in this one.
Sure, let's do that one. Yeah.
Oh yes, let that one.
So I had walked in the kitchen. Jerry was cooking dinner. I asked permission to talk to him. We're both salespeople. I asked permission to talk to him about a sales problem I was having. The rest of the family was there, right? And all of a sudden, I'm deep in conversation. I've asked him permission to do this. We are standing apart from the family, but all of a sudden, a family member totally breaks into the conversation and says, can you get me this out of the fridge, right? The belief I had been working on is I'm not heard. And it snapped for me that this has probably been going on all my life. I couldn't manage it at that time because I was really hot already. So I left the area to calm down. Well, he calls me and says, what? I was engaged. I was listening. What's going on? I really cared about what you were saying. And I was able to say to you, no, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with this belief that I'm working through and another member of the family. And I left the area so that I could make different choices rather than snapping at you or snapping at them. The cognitive awareness gave me so much control over my response. And I was only aware of that because we've been working on that limiting belief of I'm not heard. Well, that's not true. I'm not heard in some very specific situations with some very specific people.
What'd you say?
Smarty bitches. And then the other one for me, which was really interesting, was if I don't know something or I am lost, it could equal pain. And I went, how did those two things get stuck together? Because being lost or don't know something is really not a big deal. Maybe I don't know. That's all right. But those got stuck together long ago. And just pulling those apart has totally shifted how I approach the things like finances, or if I'm in a situation where I'm not completely in control. Moving that away I was just at a work conference last week, has produced this level of confidence that I've never had before, to where I did the behaviors that were expected at this work conference. I did what I needed to do. And even though the outcomes didn't necessarily fall in the high range that I wanted, I could go to sleep at night going, I did everything I needed to do to encourage these sales to happen. And I did the behaviors that were important. And so I can let it go and go, you did a good job, instead of wandering around with the whip going, no, you didn't. You weren't heard. Not knowing, being lost equals pain. You're going to suffer. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, I'm not. I did what was important. Those two pieces are huge, huge reliefs, especially with our parenting too. I'm blown away. I'm totally and completely blown away. And how to explain it is sometimes difficult, but I know it works. And change can happen quickly. That's another belief I came in with is, oh, you had to work hard and change doesn't happen quickly and it may never happen. And you're just going to be under the bus.
I really like that one. Eliminating the limiting belief that this is going to take a lot of work. Well, maybe it will, but how do I know? That's not my experience. I don't have experience. Let's see what it takes. Yeah. Maybe it can happen quickly. We'll find out.
I don't think, coming from our work ethic, we even had that thought that it can happen quickly. You work hard and that's exactly what you need to do. And
yeah,
you just do it until you die and
learn it. There's an old adage that anything that's worth having is difficult, Well, maybe that's a limiting belief.
I think it is a limiting belief. And Erin could fix it. But the even deeper thing, the sticky thing that I was talking about was I was having success and then getting really frustrated. And so I don't know how to explain that. There were some things that were coming up because we're onion layering underneath. So I reached out to Erin and I said, okay, we're still doing this. What she did was separate the thought from the feeling, from the pain. And when I get stressed, I did have consistent pain in this right ear over here. We spent, 30 minutes? 30 minutes and it's gone. But here's the kicker. She said, what did you say?
Well, it was actually, the call was 30 minutes, but the work that you did was about 3. Took about 3 minutes.
And then you said, well, you don't seem very happy.
We got rid of this pain that you said I would give anything to, anything at all to get rid of this pain. And then we got rid of the pain and you're like, yeah, so
whatever. and I've been pondering that for several weeks now. And I think, we talked about perfectionism as a limiting belief, but I think the limiting belief is, okay, we got rid of that and there will always be something more, instead of receiving that this was a real positive, that I had made a shift, that there was change. And that's the next level of what I'm working on, is actually receiving. You can't connect with somebody. He could try and connect with me all he wants, but if I'm not willing to receive, and that experience alone brought home to me again that I'm not willing to recognize what really is good. And this doesn't have to do with writing the gratitude list. That has to do with living your life that way. And those are some of the sticky limiting beliefs that I think I talk to multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs now. They're not happy. It has nothing to do with whether they can run their business well or make money or all those types of things. They are still stuck in, I don't feel confident. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel okay about myself. And we think, oh, if we make enough money, everything will be okay. No, whoever you are goes with you to whatever stage you're going into.
Mhm.
So that's why, listeners, Sober on Purpose podcast friends, I would encourage you to look, even if you're going to do it without MindFix Group, to really look at what those limiting beliefs are, because you may have most of what you want, but if you don't recognize it, you're always striving for something else. I think that's part of the entrepreneur mentality.
Don't look at me when you say that.
So I'm sorry.
I am reasonably happy in this life.
I reasonably happy is part of the Serenity Prayer. I think we have every opportunity to be very happy. It's a matter of, like you said, digging out those seeds and saying, why, what is it that requires that I can get curious. That's one of the things you've used with me. Get curious on why you are continuing to, what are you receiving from that, and why is either your body or your brain or your feelings requiring you to continue to behave like that? What are you protecting yourself from? What are you gaining from it? That's the conversation. When I walked away from that dinner table, I'm like, I was stunned. I was stunned at probably how long this had been.
You guys have been working together for that long? That was a long time ago.
14 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks,
Wow.
something like that. But she's only a 12-week program. I was stunned at how long that had been going on, and that the work that I did with MindFix Group had allowed me to see it. I couldn't see it before that, and it'd been there all along.
Yeah.
Great story.
I hope it brings it home to people, because it's, and I'd love to talk to them more about it, because I can't say when you're ready, when you are ready, the answer is in front of you. And even though I don't normally pick up courses online, especially things that are going to fool with my brain, this was phenomenal. This was just absolutely phenomenal. So can you share with us a little bit about the dynamics of?
Are we going to do the board? Oh, no, we're not going to do the board. Sorry. You're going to have to edit that out.
What board?
We're going to do drawings, but no.
She can't do drawings because we've got her on the phone.
I know. Now you're going to, yeah.
Okay. Share with us a little bit more about the dynamics of what actually happens when you hop in, time requirements.
Sure. Yeah. We have 3 different levels of programs ranging from 3, 4.5, 6 months. We're a bit like a Mayo clinic for the mind. So when you come to work with us, you'll be working with a team that's of coaches and a program manager that are dedicated to you through your whole journey, and they're working together behind the scenes as a team to in a really cool, like synergistic way to promote your progress. We're tracking your results quantitatively and qualitatively to ensure that we're taking rocks out of your backpack every week and you're just feeling lighter and better as you move forward through your program. And while the majority of what we do at MindFix is subtractive, and we're deleting beliefs, senses, expectations, traumas, memories, felt experiences, felt emotions in the body. We also do a bit of mind clarity work, which is exploratory work, which is the equivalent of popping the hood of a car and having somebody hold your hand and look underneath the hood with a flashlight and go, what else is in there? What else is going on that we may not know about? And let's find if there's any other causes that are creating problems that you might not have even had any awareness of. Kind of, we could look around for the black boxes in your mind. So even I had been going to therapy for all these years. It wasn't until I did some of these exploratory mind clarity processes that I started to have awarenesses of other ways that I was blocking myself that had never come up in normal therapeutic conversations. So we do a combination of the subtractive work in our sessions as well as the exploratory work to surface anything else that we may want to subtract in other sessions.
Super great analogy with the popping of the hood. Somebody like myself, every once in a while when you have a minute and you're doing something else maybe, and you get under the hood, you can be looking around, you're like, oh, look, there's a air hose that's just hanging there. I wonder where that goes, or this wire, and it can lead you to a problem that may have been developing, or you may have been going on that you didn't even know about.
Exactly.
But just something just jumps out at you like, hey, wait, this is out of place.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
And I must say the sessions are really gentle. They're not. There some therapy sessions that were pretty difficult, pretty painful. And it's not that the pain didn't need to come out, but these were gentle on how they work with their processes and how they work with you. And your team has been extremely generous. If there was something that we were really working deep on and the clock went up and they're like, no, we need to stay another 15, 20 minutes. Do you have time to do that so we can get this worked through? And they're very good at holding space, which you would think most therapists would be good at that, but not always.
I'm assuming this can be done remotely then, because Tanya
Yeah.
hasn't been running off to Lakewood every day or every weekend. So yeah, is that traditional to do it remotely?
We have 4 live events a year that we hold in Colorado that are private events. But honestly, 99% of our clients work with us remote from around the world through Zoom calls.
So for the live events, does it require having done the base work first? Or can you do the live events separate? And can you accomplish in one live event the same you can accomplish in 12 weeks?
No, not typically. Occasionally people do. We never know what's going to happen at the events. People have the breakthroughs of their lives oftentimes, and sometimes I'd say it's 50-50. Some half people come in and they are like, this is what I want to work on, and that's how it goes. And then the other half go, this is what I want to work on, and they end up somewhere else, totally unexpected, with at the end saying, I never could have planned that, and that's better than I could have ever hoped.
Well, if I understand correctly, a little bird told me you just did your first couples. How
We did.
Is that we're never doing that again, or was that successful or still yet to be seen?
It was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. Went better than we could have expected.
And had both people been working with you, or they came sight unseen?
We did not have a single couple where both of them had worked with us. We had some couples where neither had been in MindFix, and we had some couples where one of them had done MindFix work, but not a single couple where both of them had done it. Now that the couples went, we have a handful of couples who now both of them are in MindFix at the same time, because they saw how extraordinary it was and they saw how much it up-leveled their relationship in just a single weekend. And they're like, the ones who weren't in it were like, I want more of that. So it was quite fun.
So this is a new shift. You're not just working, when we watched the videos, you were working one-on-one because of the unique status, but this is a new shift to be able to work with 2 people in a relationship.
Everything is still, when you're in relationship, it's all about doing the individual work. So a lot of times, again, with the additive approaches, you learn communication skills, you learn techniques to be in relationship. But if the individuals have not done their work, and you've got one person who's like, I'm not lovable, and you have another person who's like, I don't deserve love, or I can't receive love, or it's dangerous to receive love, or if I receive love, then I owe somebody something, whatever, everybody has their own stuff. And if people aren't working as individuals to clear their things, they're going to show up, and it doesn't matter how many communication skills you learn, those patterns and challenges are going to create a lot of conflict that has to continually be resolved. So what we found is, in the couples retreat, we had people work and sit down with our relationship and communications experts at the beginning, and then as their individual issues would arise, they'd go off and work as individuals, and then they'd come back together after they had cleared some of their issues, and then sit down as couples again.
That is super cool.
Yeah,
it was fun.
That is super cool. The separation piece, because we know, having been in therapy together, that sometimes it gets so hot or it gets so cold, it could go either way, that we really just want out. Yeah. It's become unsafe. And so we just want out of the room. In fact, we have a little dog that we occasionally take with us, and the dog, when it gets that hot or that cold, will go sit by the door. And we're like, he's a good temperature reader, and he'll go low and I'll go high. And the communication techniques are useless at that point. It's over for that moment. So then they have that, they split up, they go do their things. And then do they take a walk, take a nap, come back together? I mean,
yeah, they'll come sit, they would hang out. It's very free flow. It's not structured. It's a very organic event where we have a nearly 1-to-1 ratio of facilitators to campers, mind campers. And so
What a great term.
I want a camper that says mind camping. That's awesome.
Mhm. And so everybody would flow, and as they felt called to, they'd go and work with someone individually, and then they'd come and work with a communications person as a couple. And it was all based on intuition and what felt good to them in the moment. So we encouraged and invited them to pause and check in and be like, do you want to be alone right now? Do you want to be sitting with your partner right now? Who here, out of all the different types of facilitators and the different types of work that we're offering, what do you feel called to explore right now? And people would just follow their intuition throughout the evening.
That's crazy awesome. And then if they needed to go because some people are internal, external process, we all process the way we process. If they needed to go be on their own, but the other part of the couple was like, no. What'd you do with that?
Oh, we didn't have that too often. Most of the couples were respectful. Like if one wanted space and the other one wanted to be together, we would ask that the one who wanted space would let them know and say, yeah, I'll be back, within an hour, and we can work on things together. They were all fairly good communicators, and there wasn't any tension with anybody abandoning anybody else during the event.
Well, and you set up the space too, so that it was
Yeah.
safe, I suppose.
Mhm.
That abandonment part might be a struggle for us.
Yeah, for us.
A little bit. Yeah. That's really interesting. I'm really impressed that you guys were willing to take that on. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely. Well, tell us. I'm going to put up some videos and some things like that. How to find you.
Easy.
What the process is to even get to speak to you, because there's a process with that.
Yep. People can go to mindfixgroup.com. Take a look at our results page first. Go straight there and see if people can see if they like the type of work that we do and the type of results that we get for our clients. We have a free training on the website. We've got a couple pages that have frequently asked questions and a little bit about our program and how it works. And if it is something that people feel called to explore or curious to see if it would be a good fit for them, then we invite them to click the big green Apply Now button in the upper right-hand corner, which will book you into my calendar, and we'll set up a clarity call where we can dive deep, and then you'll be asked to fill out maybe 10, 15 minutes worth of questions that will allow me to prepare for the call. We'll have a really good conversation and explore whether what we do and how we do it would be useful and likely a good fit for the person applying.
And I'll say personally, if you're in our community and you're thinking about it, even if you're not in our community and you want to reach out, I would be happy to take a call with you and tell you about my experience, because that's how I really checked out the program. Is I talked to somebody else who was dealing with some of the same issues that I was dealing with. He was super helpful, gracious, and I didn't feel like, it's hard when you have internet programs to know what's real and what isn't, but this has been so solid that I don't have any insecurities about saying, if you're called, like Karen said, if you're called to do this, if you are ready to make this change, you will make this change.
And the testimonials on the webpage are so genuine and powerful too. I did check those out. As well as I found as many of your talking events that I could and listen to you. We covered stuff today that I didn't really hear in my research. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Well, and if you go, she has some videos where especially if you're a visual person, where she does some drawings, some icebergy style drawings and some circles and some things like that really help explain it. We were going to do that today, but we had some technical issues. So hopefully I can add some links down below to do that. While you're doing that, subscribe here. I don't know where they're going to put the button, but subscribe so we can bring that back in. And you only take a limited amount of people. There's only so many of you. So it's not that she doesn't want to help people, but there's only so many trained people to do this. This is beyond my experience with lots of therapy over the last 20.
And this is the first I'm hearing about it. Disappointed.
I really wanted you to, I really wanted you to say, hey, you've been really different.
Right.
Is that not true?
No, it's very true. Of course it is. I say that every day. I feel like you don't hear me.
Ah, you're gonna jab me again. All right, Erin, I really appreciate it. If your team's still there, tell them thank you from me. And we will we'll post this, and this is fantastic. But again, MindFix Group, Erin Pheil. This is a new development, and like she said, in the last 5 to 10 years, there has been crazy change, and the idea that personality is permanent, that you are stuck with, as my folks used to say, well, we came from that, and so we're just like that. That's not true. That's not true. Personality can shift. You can make changes if you're ready to do it. Right? Erin, we
Good stuff.
really thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And
Hi, Sober on Purpose family. Please be sure and subscribe. We have a ton more videos. We have courses coming up. We have a newsletter that comes out weekly. Plus, there is a podcast as well. And for those who are brave enough to really decide they want to move into the future, they want to move into their future self and leave behind the hurts, habits, and hangups that they have struggled with over the last year, I work with extraordinary women who are ready to step in, open their hearts, and find the true self that they can share with their family, their community, and the world. Because it's only when one person changes that the whole world changes. Are you ready to jump into that kind of adventure? Click the links in the show notes and let me know. Let's talk and see if we're the right fit. Again, remember to subscribe, videos, courses, podcasts.